That's powerful. Also, this is an optimal board right here. This is the best. Hello everyone, welcome to a new Dr. Vash video where we're going to be going over Dragon Link. So Dragon Link is one of the top tier decks. Well, it's a tier 3 deck, but on the bright side, it's on the tier list compared to the previous one where Tier Elements were number 1 and now it's just Tier Elements and Sprite are number 1. But Dragon Links can definitely contend with Tier Elements. I think it can compete with Sprites if Sprites go first, but we do have a couple of going second cards in here, so hopefully that it'll be enough for us to gain advantage during our games. So we have 1 copy of the Effect Veiler. It would be 2, but I don't have the UR points for the second Effect Veiler, and I crafted Dark Ruler No More instead. And I really like Dark Ruler No More because it's more of a blowout card than Effect Veiler, but Effect Veiler stops them before the board's built. So it is to each their own, really, for Effect Veiler. 1 copy of Rocket Synchron gives us access to Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, Abyss, 3 copies of Maxi, 3 copies of Ash, 2 of White Dragon Buster, and 2 of Black, and they're mostly here. We run 2 instead of 3 because we don't they're summoned and search effects once per turn, and after that I just discard them, and I do recycle them with all the recycle cards. 3 copies of Rocket Tracer. Rocket Tracer might as well be the entire deck. It gives us extra summons. It locks us into dark monsters, however, but he's a tuner, extra summons, just a great card all around. Rocket Recharger, 1 copy of it. So Rocket Tracer is just a really good level 4 card for rockets, and it lets us recycle dark monsters in our graveyard if a monster is destroyed. So this is really, or it summons a dark monster. Its effects are negated, but it's really good. 3 copies of Starly Safer. Most of the time we just use this effect to discard and add White Dragon Buster or Dark Dragon Buster, but there are times where we might search for the Bestial Lubellion. 1 copy of Rocket Caliber. He summons himself to a zone a Dark Link monster points to. We will rarely use that effect, but it does happen from time to time. 1 copy of Bestial Magnum Hut. So the Bestials all have effects to summon themselves by banishing a lot of dark monsters from either player graveyard, but if our opponent controls a monster, it becomes a quick effect, and each Bestial has a different effect after that. This one searches any dragon type monster in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! From the deck or graveyard, however, is at the end phase of the turn. And Serenir, when this card sits at the graveyard, you can send a Bestial or a branded card from the deck to the grave, which I just realized how to combo with it, so we will be utilizing that effect more often. 1 copy of Duel's Worm, one of the most annoying cards ever created. When this card is sent to the graveyard, you target 1 spell summon monster opponent controls and send it to the grave. So it's just a really good removal card. 3 copies of Baldrake. Baldrake negates a Ritual Fusion Xyz and or Link summons. Target 1 of those special summon monsters to remove it. Then we have 1 copy of Observator Dragon. Observator Dragon is mostly used for his graveyard effect, but he can summon himself. When he sends to the graveyard, we can add any rocket from our deck to our hand. 3 copies of Bestial Lubellion. Bestial Lubellion lets us add any Bestial to our hand and then summons himself for free by attributing a level 5 or higher dragon type monster, or 6 or higher dragon type monster. And then we can immediately play 1 branded spell or trap card from our deck, which we run 2 of. And then 1 copy of Red Eyes Darkness Mellow Dragon. He's a very powerful card, summons a card from our hand or graveyard. Just a great extender all around, and we would like to play him as often as we can, but he's honestly not even necessary. Chaos Emperor the Dragon, just Chaos Dragon. This is a retrain of Chaos Dragon. We won't ever use his on-field effect, but we'll mostly summon him. We could use his on-field effect, but it won't happen. I almost guarantee it. Dark Ruler No More negates all face-up cards your opponent controls at the end of the turn, but they take no damage. So our goal, if we activate this card, is just to clear their board out and just create a board that they cannot get over. 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talent. So Triple Tactics Talent, I just crafted 2 copies of this card, and I want to use it in more decks. I feel like this card is very powerful for what it is. Where if our opponent activates a monster effect, we can either draw 2 cards, take a control of a monster our opponent controls to the end phase, non-targeting, or we can look at our opponent's hand and shuffle 1 card from their deck to the hand. 3 copies of Chaos Space sends 1 light or dark monster from our hand to the graveyard. Then we add a monster with the opposite attribute from our deck to our hand who's level 4 or 8. That cannot be normal summoned or set. And if it's in the graveyard, we can banish it from grave, place 1 light or dark monster that's in our banish zone at the bottom of the deck to draw a card. It was really a play enabler unless this deck really explode. 1 copy of Dragon Ravine because it's searchable. 1 copy of Bootlector Sons because it's searchable. 1 copy of Branded Regain. So it works exactly like the Chaos card, where if a card is banished, we can place it to the bottom of the deck to draw a card. And if our opponent summons a monster, or is unfortunate enough to play the game of Yu-Gi-Oh!, we can summon any Bestial from our grave, including Baldrake. 3 copies of Quick Launch. Quick Launch summons any rocket, which is always going to be Rocket Tracers. Might as well say summon Rocket Tracers from the deck. 2 copies of Clawed by the Grave. 1 copy of Cross Out just to get rid of those pesky hand traps. 1 copy of Branded Beast. Branded Beast lets us destroy, tribute 1 dragon monster and target 1 card our opponent controls and destroy it. So it's essentially Zodiac Trident, but slightly better. We do not want to draw it though. 1 copy of Borlo Savage Dragon. It's pretty, for these type of decks, it's pretty common. It lets us put a link monster equipped to it. He gains counters equal to a link rating and half of its attack. And every counter it has equals 1 negate once per turn. Chaos Ruler, look at the top 5 cards of our opponent, of our deck, add 1 light or dark monster, send the rest of the grave, and he can re-summon himself for extra sauce. 1 copy of Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, negates any card our opponent controls, and if we deal damage, we re-summon Rocket Tracer. Baron DeFleur, this is a turn 2 card because I've yet to summon her without, been able to summon her after I lock myself into dark monsters for the rest of the turn. Wallow, I just had a debate with someone in chat, Wallow versus Atum, but Wallow is definitely better because he's a dark monster and lets us special summon any monster our opponent's grave onto our field or set a spell or trap card. 1 copy of Guard Dragon Pisty. So Guard Dragon Pisty summons a monster from our grave or banish zone, or dragon type monster from our grave or banish zone. But we need a zone that 2 link monsters point to. 2 copies of Striker Dragon. It's pretty much just to search out boot sector launch. Then we can regain back the monster used for the link summon for it. 1 copy of Heretic Seal of Heavenly Spheres. Tribute to non-targeting, put a card back from our opponent's field back to their hand. And then after it's distributed, it lets us special summon any dragon type monster from our deck, lets attack and defense to 0. 1 copy of Drag Unity Knight. Drag Unity Knight on link summon lets us add Dragon Ravine. Pretty much it, that's all it's going to do. 1 copy of Delindrous Dragon, resummons itself from grave when we summon a rocket card. IP Masquerena, because IP Masquerena is broken and it's a dark monster. Dark, just in case we need that a link zone or just a generic link summon. Nightmare Unicorn, which is just a good shuffle. And Boral End Dragon, who is the boss monster and honestly speaking is kind of the win condition of the deck, which we need 3+ effect monsters, which happens in our sleep with this deck. And it can attack all monsters our opponent controls, negates an effect of any monster on the field except for itself, cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects, and it's just the best of all worlds with rockets. But if our opponent has a monster with over 3,500 attack that cannot be destroyed or targeted, we kind of just lose the game. If they have 3,500 or more, we just pretty much lose. There are ways around it, like we can summon Borlo Savage Dragon to get over it, but it's unlikely. That's pretty much our only play if there's a high attack point unaffected monster. But yeah, that's the deck profile. Let's hop into some games. Okay. with no hand traps. Let's just get throttled. These freaking Dark Magicians. Well, on the bright side, if I don't just lose the game, I mean, this is going to be a blowout. I kind of want to play Max C now, but I want to wait for Internal Soul to trigger. It's a Teddy Ursa. Alright, so we're going to get rid of Chaos Ruler. Alright, so he doesn't have Ash Blossom. That's good. Absolrouter Dragon. Activate Absolrouter Dragon's effect. And add Rocket Synchron. Use his effect to bring back Absolrouter Dragon. Oh, if that's Eternal Soul set, he might be cooked. Yeah, I just want to Max C, get a free draw. Magic Uni with the Teddy Ursa cat. What are you going to banish? Oh no. With the one draw you've given me, thank you. I really appreciate you, Boomster. Do you stream?
Hi, Boomster.
I definitely will give you. Why did I put it in defense position? I'm gonna summon Tracer. Yeah, my opponent is super dead. I'm surprised he hasn't scooped yet. Sure, we lock ourselves in the dark monsters for the rest of the turn, but at this point, it really doesn't matter. So right now the goal is to just kind of summon as many bodies on board as possible and just try to run them over in the most anti-climatic 10,000 attack point way. So one, two, three, four, five. Okay, yeah, this is he's a goner. Our opponent is straight a goner. The good buy still to grave. I'm just gonna bring them out for free. Well, by tributing a monster of ours. We're gonna get rid of. Let's get rid of Absolrouter. And after Absolrouter, we're gonna use Branded Regain. Activate Branded, or not Regain, Beast. Branded Beast. Get rid of Chaos Ruler. Get rid of Eternal Soul. Get rid of his Dark Magician that we just got. Yeah, this is just... You're not walking out of here alive. And this is enough for game. No, we're short by 2,000. No point even carrying on with our plays. Let's end this game. Low to high, just in case our opponents are running the spiciest deck of all time. Gotta remember the good old days. What could you possibly have? It's not Mirror Force. I would have gotten rid of it. This is like Battle Fader. Oh, it's the Karibo. Someone from the deck? Oh, cool. A second draw. Yeah, I kind of just want to run this over. Nothing to really lose. You can come back. Oh yeah, then you add the Karibo back to your hand. This is the first time I've ever XZ summoned. She said that she's here to... Her audio is off, so they're here to lurk. But we do appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm going to take your Dark Magician now. I'm going to put you in defense position. And we're also going to get rid of our Striker Dragon because there's no point of keeping him on the field. And we're going to add a Rocket Recharger back to our hand. The main issue with this deck is that it eats up so much time. If you run 3 Dark Magicians, you deserve this W. No one runs 3 Dark Magicians. He runs 3 Dark Magicians. Oh. Oh yeah, I can't get rid of it either. That's okay. What you gonna banish? You chose wrong, sir. They got rid of Chaos Ruler. I don't really mind if you Dark Magic attack me. I was gonna activate Cross Out. Oh no, declare Maxi. Get him out of here. Wait till the end phase. Okay, what are you doing? Are you Link summoning? For Dark? Who do I even have in grave that's a good target? I guess he could summon Nightmare Unicorn? Can't really let Nightmare Unicorn hit the field. And that's why you wait to banish cards. Okay, I think he's trying to Nightmare Unicorn me. I think I played games off stream today, and I think I've lost at least 4 coin tosses for that. And now I have the opposite issue. Now I have too many hand traps. I guess having too many Ash Blossoms isn't the worst. Cyber Dragon. I can't let this resolve. Cool. The worst part about Cyber Emergency is that Ash Blossom prevents you from re-adding it to your hand. Tragic. Do you think he's going to scoop as soon as I summon my first card? If you didn't draw a Maxi, we actually can play the game. I actually have no answer to Maxi. Cool. I want to bait Ash Blossom. He has absolutely nothing in his back pocket over there. Dang. Just suffering. That's all he has. Yeah, let's add another copy of Rocket Tracer in hand. I guess I have a dead card with triple Tactus Talent. But hey, if he activates Nibiru, I can take a look at his hand and remove a card out of it. Yeah, Nibiru is not favored in this format, fortunately for me. Yeah, when you go first with this deck, instead of doing the combo that I just did where you summon Borreload Savage Dragon, you summon Chaos Dragon, use his effect to hopefully get a card that you're missing out of your combo. So looking at the top 5 cards is pretty busted, but the card is pretty well balanced. Because it's only good in select decks. This is the exact reason why you need to lab decks out before you come out here and do a video like this, because you gotta do your plays quick, snappy. This might be cut out the video because of how long the plays are and how consistent this deck is. Absorbator Dragon, use Absorbator as a dragon's effect. Add Rocket Synchron. I think all of my summons so far have been inherent summons. But if you did have Maxi, you couldn't even chain. This is going to be the first trainable summon. Quick launch, summon another copy of Tracer. I don't know what my opponent's playing, because the fact that he's sitting here for this kind of Kind of shows that he has confidence. Let's take a quick peek at the top 5 cards real quick. Give me a peek. One, two, 3, 4, 5. And we hit the exact card I wanted to see. This is going amazing. Activate Lubellion, add Magnamut. So after playing in the synchro of it and getting completely throttled, I was like, I'm tired of playing bad decks. I'm sick and tired of losing games because I elect to run happy fun time decks when I have decks like this in my back pocket. Dragon Link. I actually own Dragon Link in real life, which is one of the few decks that I actually like legitly own. No, stop trying to summon Magnamut. No, I didn't. No, we will not shuffle back that card. That level 1 Synchro is literally like our whole deck right now. Our opponent is sitting through this. He is a real champion. Kudos to him. I didn't build D-Link in real life. I did have Invoke Shadow when it was meta for 2 months before Eldritch and Adamantipator came. Man, that was, oh my gosh, we do not want to talk about the Eldritch Adamantipator time. Oh my goodness, those, the dark days. We won't activate Secret Slayer format. I did play around that time too when the Adamantipator, my friend had an Adamantipator deck. He had an Adamantipator, I'm trying to think of the other deck that he ran with Adamantipator's. It was the not the Gadget, but the Magnet Warriors. And that deck was so weird. Oh, crazy. No, you're not needed. Keep you on the grave for now. Activate Quick Launch. Yeah, we're going all in. Summon Rocket Caliber. You know, I played during TOS format. I was playing online, and Thunder Dragons. I hated Thunder Dragons. I still have a bad taste in my mouth from Thunder Dragons. They're not even like top tier in this game, but they exist, and they are still as powerful. Also, this is an optimal board right here. This is the best. He's just gonna come back. 1, 2. Drizzleworm. Oh my gosh, I actually bought Pendulum Magicians before they became meta, and then they became meta, and I was a menace. Like, I bought it for like the whole deck for $100, and let me tell you, that deck was a menace. Like with full power Pendulum Magicians it was like right before Master Rule 4, so the pendulum zones were on the outside. You could set as many cards as you wanted. Man, good times. I used to run a Zark engine, and like summoning Zark, since you could pendulum summon so consistently and get 5 monsters out super easily. I had them during heavy metal foes, Electrum. Like it was, oh, great times. You know, that moment when you bought a tier 2 deck because it was fun and then it becomes tier 1. We're just gonna, I think my opponent may be committing Senpoku right now. I don't really care if this card dies. Most people don't know this, but if this card dies, I still keep my counters. What's I know this is a floodgate. And bring back one of our rocket tracers. Timer, stop going down. I know you're at 38 seconds. But all the Link monsters should have been vanillas. I don't know why they didn't make them vanillas if they wanted to balance out the game. Because the arrows themselves were more than enough to balance out the Link mechanic. Because this is the reason why Baron is running the deck. So we can, on the turn 2 clapback. My man's running Dust Tornado? Do you think he's stalling for time? This deck is really powerful. It competes very well with the meta. However, with TR elements being slightly more consistent in this deck, the boards being less complicated, and just a higher power level overall, Dragon Links most likely isn't going to win against TR limits, but it definitely will give them a run for their money. So this deck is definitely, I would say it's up there, and I have a lot of fun playing it, and with the Bisteel engine, it actually makes the deck less complicated than its previous versions, and especially with Boral and Dragon now, you don't have to make complicated Link summon boards, you don't have to remember what attributes you're on. You can kind of just lock yourself into dark monsters. Only a few monsters in your extra deck are not dark, and which is Herodic Seal, Drag Unity, and Baron de Fleur, and any other cards you want to put in there. This deck is, I would say, it's pretty great. So thank you for coming to my video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we really appreciate you. Bye.